Now, find out what people really think.
News Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Well, here I am, Ed Koch, your voice of reason. There's a lot to go over. There was an announcement that Giuliani and Carl McCall, under the auspices of Peter Vallone, worked out an arrangement whereby Carl McCall will be able to audit the mayor's agencies, and that he agreed, Carl McCall, that he would not conduct the performance audits. That's ridiculous on his part, because Giuliani doesn't want those performance audits where he says that he has done something and it turns out that he hasn't. Now, for example, the New York Times did an audit in several areas. One with respect to class size, where Giuliani concluded, I'm reading, that the system had met the target. The target was an average of 25 students in a class. And the Times found that it was not so. They found that the average size was over 28. Now, that's important in a class of students, but what is more important is that Giuliani's reports are not accurate. Similarly, the Times found that the city's streets, which Giuliani found acceptably clean, that more of them were in fact dirty than Giuliani's report indicated. So Carl McCall should not have given up his right to do those performance orders. Now, the mayor can take pride in the fact, the Times points out, crime is down sharply. Many New Yorkers feel safer than they used to be. About 235,000 fewer people are on welfare than just 2 years ago. New York City parks and playgrounds are cleaner, and playground equipment is in much better shape. They go on to report New York streets, though, are much dirtier than municipal officials have reported. Classes in public elementary schools are more crowded, etc. Okay. Now you have Bruno denouncing the tenant leaders because Bruno, has been threatened, and there have been suspicious fires near his office. I hope the police find all of these people who have threatened him. You got nuts out there, but it is ridiculous to blame the tenant leaders and the tenants for criticizing him. He doesn't want to be criticized. I'm reading this. Mr. Bruno, appearing slightly shaken, used the episode to unleash an unusually personal attack against tenant leaders and Democratic lawmakers, accusing them of distorting his position and trying to demonize him and scare tenants. He charged that panic they had stirred among tenants, particularly those in New York City, had placed him and others at great risk, prompting telephone and mail threats to his office and to his home in Brunswick. There's no question that if he goes through with his threat not to have rent stabilization continued, that he does place tenants at great risk. And while I am for vacancy decontrol and I am for luxury decontrol, I am not for doing what he wants to do, which is basically with some limitations on the handicapped and the very poor, to basically eliminate controls in 2 years. That's just dumb in my judgment, but he has no basis for saying that the landlord, I should say that the tenant leaders are responsible for the irrational acts of people who are just nuts out there. Okay. Now here, Elizabeth Colbert in the New York Times says about Mayor Giuliani, there are a lot more persuasive tactics that the mayor could use should he choose to bring the members of his party around. Mr. Giuliani could, for example, make it known that he will oppose any of the city's 5 Republican state senators who do not work to extend the laws. He could even threaten to support Mr. Pataki's Democratic opponent in next year's gubernatorial election, hardly a stretch for a man who 3 years ago backed Mario M. Cuomo. Freddie Ferrer put it on Friday not once, but several times, I'm reading, the mayor has taken a dive. I don't think he's taken a dive. I don't think he's doing as much as he can. The New York Times has an editorial in which they quite correctly denounce the Department of Justice for holding up the mandate of the city that next year those who seek to get funds for their mayoral campaigns must agree to debate with their opponents. And the Justice Department, they're nuts, says that they are saying that the debates may prejudice Chinese and Hispanic voters who may not understand the debates, which will be in English. That's about as dumb as you can get to say something like that, because these debates, as the Times points out, will benefit all New Yorkers, including non-English speaking voters, for whom coverage will be provided in the Hispanic and Chinese American press. We ought to get rid of the controls on New York City, which they're exercising in the Justice Department under the Voting Rights Act. There's no discrimination against voters in this city. Okay. Now, okay, there is a wonderful museum for blacks that was just created in Detroit after 4 years of work and $38 million in the city government. Nation's largest city with a black majority is opening the nation's largest museum of African American history on Saturday. That was last Saturday. That's very, very good. And then, of course, the greatest event over the weekend was Tiger Woods and the golf trophy that he won. Really incredible. But what was most moving was, and I'm not a golfer, so what the hell do I know about that? But I saw him embrace his father, who was unable to accompany him on the course, had to watch because I think he's had bypasses. And, of course, Tiger Woods won the Masters in a superb way. And then to embrace his mother was very, very moving. And it was clear that Tiger Woods had actually cried as he embraced his father, who had trained him all over these years. It was a very moving moment. And he is an extraordinary young man who has broken the color line, just as Jackie Robinson did. Okay, it's 11:11, and this is Ed Koch on News Talk Radio 77 WABC. The phone number is 800-848-WABC, and I'll be right back.
1 in 20 New Yorkers suffers from diabetes. One of their greatest fears is the possibility of losing a limb. The Diabetes Treatment Center at Staten Island University Hospital has pioneered successful treatments for diabetic foot problems, including ulcers and infections. The majority of patients are medically treated and stabilized, even those previously recommended for surgery. Their procedures usually minimize and often prevent hospitalization. Specialty physicians and therapists evaluate each patient using state-of-the-art biomechanical devices which are individually customized. In fact, Staten Island University Hospital is recognized nationally as a center of excellence for these special foot problems. And now these same treatments are available in Brooklyn, too. Call Staten Island University Hospital at 1-800-777-2880. Even if you've been told surgery is necessary, call 1-800-777-2880 first. Another reason they're among America's top 100 hospitals. Well, spring is finally here. The days are getting brighter, and so are the career opportunities at California Microwave Satellite Transmission Systems Division. CMSTS is the world's largest supplier of advanced turnkey earth stations and network designs. And due to recent program awards and the next wave of development in wireless communications technology, several outstanding career opportunities are available for technical professionals with the talent and imagination to spring forward with a leader. Satellite Transmission Systems has positions for program managers, software systems, and quality engineers. Find out about these exciting opportunities at the California Microwave STS Open House, Tuesday, April 15th from 4 to 8 p.m. That's Tuesday, April 15th from 4 to 8 p.m. at 125 Kennedy Drive in Hauppauge, Long Island. For more information, please check the employment section of your Sunday newspaper. California Microwave offers competitive salaries and excellent benefits. So don't just move the clock forward, move your career forward, too, at California Microwave Satellite Transmission Systems, an equal opportunity employer. Baseball.
Sit in the shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon.
It's how you mark the seasons.
we'll find they have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines. So they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game. And it'll be as if they'd dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick they'll have to brush them away from their faces.
And now, a new season.
Baseball has marked the time. This field, this game,
Yankee baseball.
is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray.
On the Yankee station,
People will most definitely come.
77 WABC. If you or someone you know are one of the millions of men suffering from sexual potency problems, or if you'd like to improve your sexual performance, please listen carefully. Lack of sexual energy can result from high levels of stress, caffeine, and frequently recommended drugs. Now, there's Strenex. When taken daily, this 100% natural formula is guaranteed to boost your energy level and sexual performance or your money back. Strenex has been laboratory tested for purity, is completely safe, and offers men of all ages the boost they need. Call 1-800-585-8803 to order Strenex today. And for a limited time, try Strenex risk-free. Response to this offer has been tremendous, so please be patient when calling 1-800-585-8803. Have your credit card ready when calling 1-800-585-8803. 1-800-585-8803 for Strenex.
News Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Bernie, and where is it? Blauvelt?
Yes, sir.
Yes. How can I help?
Mr. Koch, your assertions about the sanitation are wrong.
I just read from the Times that
Yeah,
maybe they're
well,
wrong. The Times is wrong.
But here's the problem I have with your show, and I listen almost daily
Yeah.
to you, and that is most of the things that you quote are from statistics, and statistics aren't really always fair. Those of us, I have 3 stores in the city. At one time I had
Yeah.
10.
Okay.
And I get around a whole lot. The pickup by sanitation, we have a lot of dumping on my corner in Washington Heights, and sanitation is there almost every day, picks it up. The
Yeah.
streets are clean.
I mean,
And-
your streets are clean.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
also in the Bronx.
I see. Let me just say this. I don't. The Times devoted 2 pages to an analysis of the mayor's record, and I read to you areas of the mayor's record that he can take great pride in. Did you hear me read that?
I certainly did.
Okay. So I'm trying to be fair.
I didn't say
And
you weren't.
and then okay. You're saying the Times is wrong.
I'm saying the Times is
Okay.
from a practical.
All right.
If I may make one
Yeah.
comment, and that is this: I find that in your show you always quote statistics out of.
Well, I mean, what else can I do?
Well, there is.
These are.
I'll explain that.
Go ahead.
There's a practical matter. Those of us who are out there on the streets, those of us in the community,
But let me just
find
say
different results.
anecdotally, but let me just say this to you. There are 7.5 million people in the city of New York. There are 59 community planning districts. There are 6,000 miles of road in the city of New York. Your experience has been that in your area, and you have mentioned 2 areas, that the streets are cleaner. I don't doubt it. But why would you presume that if the Times did a survey of the whole city and concluded that the streets are dirtier than the mayor said that they are, that they're necessarily wrong? I mean, is there a basis for you
Yes,
coming? What's the basis?
my practical experience.
That in 2 areas that you're involved with.
No, I'm in.
Oh.
I have 2 stores
All right,
on
look,
Westchester Square and Westchester.
look, Bernie.
Yeah,
Bernie,
you know, and
Bernie,
see what goes on.
Bernie, be quiet and listen. But let's not be rude to one another. That's just a joke. The fact is that I call it, and you quite correctly saw that, as it is reported. I'm not out there examining the audits. That's why Carl McCall should never have given up his right to examine the mayor's audits. Maybe he would come to the same conclusion you did, and a different conclusion than the Times did. But I'm limited to what is reported. Can you see that?
I understand.
Okay, that's all. All right, you want to give us your anecdotal material. Anecdotal material is important, but it can never take the place of an actual ongoing fair report. And the New York Times is going to editorially endorse Giuliani for re-election. They have standards. Their reporters are terrific. They don't ever, in my judgment, knowingly misstate. They make errors, and maybe you're right. But until I see other reports...
You don't believe that they went through 6,000 miles of road, do you?
No, what they do is they have to do a random selection. When you examine a problem, you do a random selection. In other words, it can't be a Potemkin village where you know that something's going to be bad or something's going to be good. You do it randomly. That's how you get a random poll on who you're voting for. If you could always come up with support for a particular candidate. For example, if you called only blacks, Sharpton would come out number one. So therefore, it's got to be random. Some black, some white, etc. But listen, you're not blaming me. You're blaming the Times, so I'm not going to get mad.
Okay.
Okay, thanks for calling.
Bye.
It's 11:20, and this is Ed Koch on News Talk Radio 77 WABC. The phone number is 800-848-WABC, and I'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Lisa Cooper, and if my name sounds familiar, well, perhaps you read my story in the New York Times. Remember? The story about the lady who lost $4,000 when she sold the jewelry she inherited from her mother because she failed to get an offer from the fabricants before she sold. I'm telling you this story because I want you to learn from my mistake.
I could read this commercial from now till forever, but the bottom line would still be the same because some things never change, like the fact that the fabricant family will pay top dollar for your valuable watch, diamonds, signed and unsigned jewelry, just as they have been doing for 4 generations. So to avoid a costly mistake, I suggest you call Peter Sherry, Andrew, or Brian Fabricant at 212-382-2270, 382-2270. Calling from out of town, then call 1-800-570-GEMS. The Fabricants, a name I know you can trust.
If your internet provider makes you wait in line just to get online, get MindSpring. You'll go direct to the internet so fast it'll get your mind springing and your noggin bobbing. Spring onto the internet with startup software rated excellent by PC Magazine, including the best web browser, email that's second to none, access to news groups, chat sessions, and more. Get 24-hour technical support for Windows and Mac, and so many flexible usage plans, you can spring for a low $6.95 a month, or unlimited access for only $19.95 a month. MindSpring is fast, friendly, and fun. And if you don't agree, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. So call toll-free 1-888-MSPRING and stop treating your mouse like a turtle. MindSpring, direct to the internet. Call toll-free 1-888-M-SPRING.
I'm Dr. Spencer Foreman, president of Montefiore Medical Center. 25,000 New Yorkers will die of heart attacks this year. That's why I want you to know about the Montefiore Heart Center. Thanks to our research and treatment, more patients lead normal lives now than ever before. No clot-dissolving drugs prevent permanent damage from heart attacks, and Montefiore doctors invented many of today's cures for rhythm disorders. It's no wonder New York Magazine found more of the city's best heart doctors at Montefiore. But Montefiore doctors touch their patients' hearts in other ways, too, by taking time to answer their questions, by explaining treatment options, and by involving their families. At Montefiore, you won't just get better, you'll feel better, too.
So if you have heart disease or think you might, you'll feel better when you choose the Montefiore Heart Center at Montefiore Medical Center. Call 1-800-MD-MONTE. That's 1-800-MD-MONTE.
Phyllis in Summers, New Jersey, I guess.
Mr. Mayor, no,
Yes.
it's in New York,
Oh, it's in New York?
in Westchester.
Oh, okay.
First, I want to tell you, we listen to your program every day.
Yeah?
My husband is bedridden. That's a highlight in the day.
He likes it.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Let me ask you a very important non-political question.
Yeah.
How did New York get the nickname of the Big Apple?
Very simple. It's a 1920 nickname for Harlem as the cultural center of the world, particularly for jazz, and it spread to applying to the whole city of New York. That's the best anecdote. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Steve in Queens Village.
I want you to call for the impeachment of Clinton now.
Okay, bye-bye. Jean in New Jersey.
Hi, Mayor.
Yes, Jean.
It's an honor to talk to you again.
Thank you.
You know, I love it when you tell us ahead of time, when you can, when you're going to be on and where you're going to be on, because I looked at you for Tim Russert.
Did you see my show?
Yes, I did.
Did you like it?
Oh, yes. Anything you're on, it's a big highlight for me.
That was on 4 times over the weekend. I'm
amazed. I only
amazed.
caught it Saturday night.
Yeah.
And you told me Friday night it was on, but it wasn't. I didn't.
I was
see it.
wrong. I was told it was Friday.
Oh, okay. Hey, Mayor Koch, guess what?
What?
Farrakhan was on Tim Russert Sunday.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm calling to ask if you saw it.
I saw half of it. I was watching Marsha Kramer for the first part. But I have read his whole statement because I got the Meet the Press transcript. So what's your question?
Give me your take on him.
Well, let me just say, I don't think they asked him the tough questions.
I didn't think so either.
For example, they didn't ask him why he called and if he still believes that the Pope is the Antichrist. They didn't ask him that. They didn't ask him why and if he still believes that the Judaism is a dirty religion, a gutter religion. They didn't ask him that. They did ask him, does he believe still that whites were the experiment of a black scientist 6,600 years ago, a black scientist named Jacob, and he says yes, and then he goes on, he fudges, he says it doesn't suggest that we're superior or that you are inferior. No, his original comment was a failed experiment.
Yeah.
Now, the problem was that the people who were interrogating him didn't know enough about his comments. I know a lot. Next time, I hope they have me interrogating this guy.
I would love to see that.
The Catholic Church is boycotting his presence in Philadelphia, as are many Jewish leaders. As well they should.
Yeah.
People are trying to mainstream Farrakhan. If he said, I said these terrible things, I'm sorry, and I don't believe them anymore, that's okay. But he doesn't. He says everything I said is true.
Yeah, and Tim Russert did question him like what you said, that he has to be humble to
no, he has to engage in penance. He has to ask for forgiveness for those people who he has insulted.
He wouldn't budge, and he's so slippery,
Well, he's a very able speaker. You can't take that away from him. But I don't think they asked him sufficiently tough questions.
I'm glad they asked him about the eubonics because he thought it wasn't right.
That's correct. It isn't. He speaks well. It's 11:27, and this is Ed Koch on News Talk Radio 77 WABC. The phone number is 800-848-WABC, and I'll be back after the news.
An important message for users of the Internet and the World Wide Web. If you're experiencing problems getting online, if you're frustrated by slow, watered-down Internet capabilities, hourly fees, or having to wade through countless screens of babble just to get to the Internet, this message is for you. Right now, Errol's is offering unlimited, unrestricted Internet access at prices as low as $9.50 a month. $9.50 a month, unlimited direct access for less than half what most serious Internet users pay their online providers. Nobody offers a faster T3 digital direct connection straight to the Internet. And Errol's gives you licensed copies of Netscape, Surfwatch, and email software. Try Errol's risk-free. If within 30 days you don't agree that it's better, cheaper, and faster than any other Internet service, we'll refund your purchase price. To order, call 1-888-GO-ERROLS. 1-888 G-O-E-R-O-L-S.
Here's an important message from David Lerner Associates. Spring is a time to do something wonderful for yourself or for the special people in your life. If you want to fund your pension program or create a fund for your children's or grandchildren's education, David Lerner Associates suggests the following. For $27,500, of course, you can invest more or less. You can purchase $100,000 of zero-coupon treasury bonds. Invest $27,500 now, and at maturity, you will be guaranteed $100,000 by the U.S. government. That's a gain of $72,500. It all starts by calling David Lerner Associates at 1-800-367-3000. Write this number down, 1-800-367-3000. Bonds subject to market fluctuation if sold before maturity. Zero-coupon bonds may be more volatile than bonds that pay interest regularly. Bonds mature 11-15-15. Call David Lerner Associates now at 1-800-367-3000. That's 1-800-367-3000. Member NASD and SIPC. Offices in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Rush Limbaugh coming up at noon on News Talk Radio 77 WABC.
It was 2 years ago that a truck full of explosives rocked the nation.
What happened in Oklahoma City on April 19th, 1995 is more than a crime. It's a dark chapter of the nation's history.
My grandbaby is being raised without a mother, and it has forever changed my life.
Now comes the search for justice, the Oklahoma City bombing trial, and Court TV brings you coverage like no one else can. Every weeknight at 8 on Primetime Justice, a complete wrap-up of the day's events. Live reports from the courthouse with anchor Ricky Cleveland, a veteran federal trial attorney, and senior correspondent Tim Sullivan, who covered the World Trade Center bombing and Waco. Only Court TV brings you an experienced team of legal journalists who know the law because they practice the law, providing insight and perspective you won't find anywhere else. The Oklahoma City bombing trial on Primetime Justice, weeknights at 8 on Court TV.
From the worldwide resources of ABC News, with news on the half hour, on the hour, and when it breaks.
News Talk Radio 77 WABC.
New York.
From the ABC Newsroom, taxes, topic A today on Capitol Hill, one day before the filing deadline. The General Accounting Office telling a congressional committee it still cannot prevent or detect employees who go snooping through a taxpayer's private files. Like many families in America, the first family has not yet filed its tax return. Aides say the President and Mrs. Clinton are meeting with their tax accountant this morning. They're expected to make their tax return public later today. Air Force officials losing hope of finding Captain Craig Button alive. He's the pilot who apparently crashed in an Air Force A-10 Thunderbolt in the Colorado Rockies. Ground searches and heavy snows expected to resume later today. The White House says it's up to Janet Reno, but Republicans are expecting the Attorney General to turn down appointing an independent counsel to look into the campaign fundraising mess. Bettina Gregory, ABC News.
Now, find out what people really think.
News Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Okay, Mike in Toms River.
Yeah, good morning, Mayor. Did you, well, that woman before me had taken most of what I wanted to say, but yesterday with Farrakhan on Meet the Press, as far as that comment about Jewish religion being the gutter religion, he tried to blow that off as the Jews had made a disparaging remark about his Muslim faith.
Well, firstly,
and that's what he was trying to argue.
Which Jew?
That's the problem. This guy seems to he's just a labeler.
I mean, I'm not holding Farrakhan responsible for the vicious comments of some jerk in the street. I'm holding Farrakhan responsible for his own comments. For example, they asked him what he thought about his surrogate, Khalid Muhammad, who said, the old no-good Pope, you know that cracker, somebody needs to raise that dress up and see what's really under there. Do you understand, this is Tim Rusted saying, why Catholics take offense, etc. And then after saying, well, look at the terrible things that happened to blacks. Of course, those things happened, and they were terrible. No question about it. Doesn't excuse Farrakhan saying terrible things. Farrakhan ends up by saying, I don't use that cheap language. I don't like that. But the fact is that Khalid Muhammad speaks for him, but they should have asked Farrakhan, well, if you don't like it, why did you call the Pope, you yourself, the Antichrist? Is that better language? You follow? It's outrageous. I want to tell you, on the other side of this, because I like to be fair, there is in the Post today a commentary by Michael Kelly, who is the editor of the New Republic, and I must say I'm surprised at him. He is upset because the president, who he censures, as I do, for supporting racial quotas and opposing the California referendum, which I support, the California referendum, as does Michael Kelly. But he censures the president for the following. On April 8th, the president's men advised the press that the president is going to take some actions. He's going to apologize on behalf of the government to the black men who are withheld treatment for syphilis in the United States. Public Health Service, a barbaric and criminal Tuskegee experiment. There's nothing wrong with the president. He should apologize. And then it goes on. He's going to play a role in ceremonies at Shea Stadium to honor Jackie Robinson. He should.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Nothing. But Michael Kelly, by implication, thinks that this is wrong. He might convene a White House conference on bigotry. Nothing wrong with that. He will probably appoint a commission. I hope he does. Oh, good. 2 photo ops, a conference and a commission. A few acts of symbolic atonement. Another spectacle of the flat catchers mau-mauing themselves. Some token employment for the same small group of racialists and race specialists who always find token employment in those affairs. Remarks by Jesse Jackson. That'll repair the breach. That's the denigration of this. I think you have to do 2 things. I think you have to recognize where government has a role to redress the legitimate grievances of blacks.
Yeah, but
and to at the same time say it's not legitimate, and thank God the Supreme Court has struck it down, that in addressing the and redressing black grievances, you don't engage in reverse discrimination against white males.
No.
Okay, but the problem is that there are very few people as fair as me, right?
Yeah, but like yesterday also.
Proper English would be as I am. I was hoping you'd correct me.
Oh, I'm sorry. But like yesterday also on that Meet the Press thing, Farrakhan was saying how, I guess years ago, Jesse Jackson stood up for somebody who the Jews were picking on. Did you hear this one?
I didn't hear that one, but I will.
This is a joke.
I understand what he's talking about. It's probably the same thing. Andrew Young lied to the State Department. He was fired because of that. They blame that on the Jews.
Okay.
For example, Farrakhan should have been asked, do you still believe that Jewish doctors are putting the AIDS virus into the bloodstream of young black children? That's what he has said he believes. I mean, they were not adequately prepared to take him on.
No, but why did they even give this man...
Well, that's another question. I don't mind it if you're adequately prepared, then you can show how bad he is. The best that they could do here was to point out that he really is for racial separation, and he wants blacks to live in one part of the United States and whites to live in another. He's bad news, and regrettably, the reason that other black leaders are asked to say, do you agree with him or not? And black leaders say, that's not legitimate. Why do you ask us? Because he's the #1 black leader, according to the polls.
But do you honestly believe that, say, all right, NBC is Meet the Press is the one that had him on yesterday. Do you honestly think that Meet the Press would have maybe made Russert do a little bit more research or...
No, Russert, Tim
make him look bad?
No. Tim Russert is a very good reporter.
Would they infuriate Farrakhan by shooting down all his arguments?
Oh, I don't agree with you at all. I don't think that there was any intent to make him look good.
You don't think so?
No, I think the fact is they failed to do adequate research for this, including David Broda. They didn't ask him the really tough questions. He's a very smooth article. And you ask him a question, some of which were good. He then will slither out by saying, oh, but how about the terrible things that were done to the blacks? They are terrible.
But then Russert could have come back and said, you didn't answer my question.
Well, he should have.
Yeah.
Right, but thank you. How do you like my show? You call regularly.
I love your show.
Oh,
I'll catch you later, Ed.
Okay,
Have a good
bye,
week.
Mike. Ashton in Queens.
Morning, my honor.
Yes, sir.
I'm a first-time caller.
Yeah.
And I just like to let you know that I enjoy your show a lot.
Thank you.
My question to you is that, or rather my comment is that I'm not a supporter of Louis Farrakhan, period. I will never be.
And you're Caribbean black?
Of course, I'm West Indian. I'm from Guyana.
Well, I can tell that from from your wonderful English diction and that special way that Caribbean people speak. I love it. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. But what I would like, the question I would like to ask you is that if you think it is fair for Curtis Sliwa, which I enjoy a lot, and Sean Hannity, to be calling Mr. Louis Farrakhan by the name Louis Screwy Farrakhan.
Louis what?
Louis Screwy.
Oh, well, that's crazy. He is someone who has to be taken seriously, and when you're dealing with serious people, he's a racist, he's a bigot, he's anti-Semitic, he is anti-Catholic, he's anti-white. You do not help your case if you call him foolish names. In the same way, David Duke. If you just say screwy David Duke, you're not helping the case against David Duke because he has to be taken seriously. Hundreds of thousands of people voted for him in Louisiana, but fortunately, the vast majority of Louisianans voted against him. Thank you for calling me.
And thank you for taking my call, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Melvin in Jamaica. Melvin.
Hello.
Yep.
Yes. I was listening to somebody earlier, and they was talking about the streets are cleaner, you know. I live in Jamaica.
Yeah, that's what
right?
Giuliani says, but the New York Times says that his facts are wrong.
But in Jamaica, they clean the main streets, you know, but the side streets. And I mean, how many times you call a sanitation, like, with dump things? And you call a sanitation department, you get instant action. If you call a telephone company, you get instant action. If you call a cable company, and the sanitation department's like wasting your time.
Well, anyway,
calling them over and over again.
You disagree with that guy who called up and said...
Oh, man, that's why I called you. What he was saying didn't make no sense to me.
Thank you for calling. And you see, it's anecdotal. Now, it could be that the streets are overwhelmingly clean, and your anecdotes are simply from ones that you've observed, which would not be relevant to the whole city. And the same applied to him. I prefer to believe that the New York Times did a legitimate random sample, and when they concluded that Giuliani's figures are not honest figures, or accurate is a better way of putting it, I think that they're probably right. Frank in Staten Island. Frank!
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Frank.
Yeah, I listen to you every day. What I wanted to ask you was during at nighttime, these nighttime regulation signs, they're great with stars.
Yeah.
I didn't see it one night. I parked in the village on West 8th Street, and there was meters up till 10 p.m. I thought I was safe after 10.
Yeah.
And I was with my three nieces from England, and one of them was only 6 years old. I come back, my car is gone at 5 after 11.
Well, what did the sign say?
But it said no standing, I think it was 11 p.m. to 6 a.m.
So why did
I
you...
want to ask is why do they have to... They let you park there all day long on me.
I don't know, but
and
why
then
didn't
at
you...
nighttime they want
But you read the sign. Why did you not worry about it? If you read the sign, you were on
No,
notice.
I didn't see the sign is way on the top of the pole, above the meter
All
sign.
right, next time read the whole sign. Bye.
All right.
Tony in Middleton. Middletown.
Hello, Mayor Koch.
Yes, Tony.
I wanted to tell you that I enjoy your show, probably more than anybody else's show on there.
Yeah.
And, but I wanted to talk to you about Louis Farrakhan for a second.
But you got to hurry because
I'm a
we only
black
have a
male,
minute.
and do you have any idea how many people really love this man?
I know, and that's what's so dangerous. The fact that he says some things that you can approve of doesn't mean that you have to excuse his anti-Catholicism, his anti-white statements, and his anti-Semitic statements. David Duke likes green parks. Does that mean that it's okay to like David Duke?
Well, I'm saying that there was a time when, for instance...
Well, we got to go.
Okay.
Call again. Bye-bye, everybody.